This conference will now be recorded.
Like a glass pack on a hard rock car.
Basically.
It says we are.
Good evening, everyone. Wednesday, June 24th, 6:30 PM. I'll call the meeting of the Town of Cottage Grove Plan Commission to order. Everything was posted properly. We have a quorum. And let's go to the minutes of the last meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Dave, second by Tom to approve the minutes from the May 27th meeting as presented. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public concerns, the public's opportunity to speak to the Plan Commission about any item that is not a specific agenda item. Anybody online?
Not raising their hand for that.
Okay. Next item, Tyler Bronkhorst, petitioner and property owner, parcel 0711-024-8391-7 at 1864 Meadowview Lane, seeking a CUP for limited family business to use existing buildings for storage and repair of farm and construction equipment.
That's me. I didn't know if, this is my first time, so I didn't know if.
Okay.
Come up or you can read it through or what we're doing.
The floor is yours.
Okay, don't know. Does anybody have any questions, I guess, or do you want me to explain what I'm doing?
Yes.
I've got a 50 by 80 building that was put up. I basically store my equipment and stuff in there. I do mobile equipment repair. I have a truck and I go out and fix farm equipment and stuff like that. And I'd like to be able to work in that same building for in the winter and stuff like that if I don't want to work out in the field, or if there's something that, you know, I can bring back and be inside basically out of the weather. There's certain projects that just go better inside. It's a small, just me, there's nobody else. It's a small, quiet operation, and just trying to basically be able to use my building for minor work on equipment. And I've got a fair amount of property, fair amount of space around the building. No close neighbors. I've talked to all the neighbors as well, and it won't be any kind of big operation, just a one man, you know, Monday through Friday type thing. And most of the time I'll be gone as I am now. Most of the time I'll be fixing equipment out.
People having much outdoor storage of stuff.
Everything will be kept inside. It's everything can fit in the building. Nothing will be outside. I got no materials or anything that'll be sitting outside. It's neat and tidy. You know, I keep my stuff nice and clean, and there'll be no junk laying around. It's not gonna turn into a salvage yard or anything.
Are you doing it now? You're pretty much just.
I'm mobile right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just park my stuff there now. But everything's been inside and clean, and there's really been no issue, but I'd like to expand a little bit.
Is there a driveway here?
There is no driveway there. That's just basically like a small gravel pad back there. It's nothing really back there, just open yard and gravel.
I thought I read somewhere in here that there was a cul-de-sac for people coming to your business to turn around, but I didn't see it on the map.
I've got a, I don't know if I can come up there by a second here, I can show you. I have a spot There's enough space to turn around, basically you can come back in here and go back out. This is basically all there is for driveway at the moment. So it's basically enough, you can make a tight wide turn here. And this is a little bit of a tight corner. It's not exactly that tight if you look at it in person.
Okay.
Well, and then that, what you were asking about here is just basically dirt and gravel back here.
I wasn't sure what this was saying.
Existing power of the building. They asked where the power was.
Oh,
That's what it's kind of hard to see. It was copied over a few times, but that's just where the power comes in. For some reason, they were asking where the power comes into the building.
okay.
I think they were asking just to see if we needed to do any more improvement or where the power lines came in.
He's answered all the standards that we have, these 8 standards, he's answered them all, there's no flags on any of that. I see.
Are you gonna be doing much outside repair, or is it?
Just basically, if I have to unload something outside, that'll be it. Everything else will be inside.
So no outside storage. No outside storage.
Right,
It's not
I'm
as intense.
correct. Was just curious if a person brought, say, a baler behind the tractor over because it wasn't operating properly and, you know, hold it up alongside your building. And I mean, it turned out to be not much of a repair, so you did it outside rather than hooking it and
Bring it
pushing it
inside.
inside. all that
It
kind of-
maybe test ran or something outside, but that'd be about it. I try to get everything, out of the sun, basically. That's my idea anyway. Get out of the weather and get inside. Small repairs are usually done on site. That way I don't have to bring something back.
Sure. Tim, in their standards for conditional use permit, number 5, the very last sentence is,
Like, yeah, that's the way they come from the county. They cut off like that and we don't get anything better.
oh,
So,
one,
At least it wasn't something I messed up.
no, but I'm sure that Tyler knows what he said. The question or the number 5 is adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. And you said no congestion will be created by my business due to being a small business, as well as I mainly travel to my customers to perform the work. Traffic will also be minimal, 1 to 2 customers per day max. The road only serves 5 houses and is a dead-end street. All traffic will be going in and out of the driveway, and the driveway has a turnaround. No road flow will be impeded. No heavy or overweight equipment will, and then it cuts off.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what you said after will?
Will be coming in or out, no overweight equipment or heavy equipment. And basically, you can get in the one driveway and back around the corner and go out with anything that would be coming in. There'll be nothing sitting on the road or looking up the road. It's a dead end road as well. It's minimal traffic.
there's only 2 houses past you.
Yeah,
And it's always farm machinery. It's not construction or anything else.
there'll be some construction equipment, skid loaders, stuff like that. I mean, that kind of goes back and forth between farm and construction.
Anyone else have any questions? I'll open it up to the public. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the CUP?
I wouldn't mind saying a few things. I don't know exactly what I would say, but Tyler started out his business as a mobile repair business. I'm his dad. And occasionally there are things that end up or need to be at his shop for him to work on for a short period of time. And he's taken the steps to be in accordance with Dane County zoning. He is on a dead end road. It's quiet. He's very neat and tidy with his things to the point where it's almost obsessive to some degree. So you don't have to worry about it turning into a junkyard or interfering with neighbors. Very respectful of everybody that he's been working with and neighbors. I think Sam back here could probably say something about that too.
And I can't complain about him. He's, does his thing up there and,
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't give me any trouble or.
He actually helps out the neighbors. I mean,
Yeah.
cleaning snow for Sam in the winter time and helping with his stuff too, so. He's kind of out there by himself on the hill. Nobody around, but maybe Wayne Woleen now and then will stop in and pester him, but just out there minding his own business.
I make a motion to
This
approve.
outdoor storage or unloading.
You just have to drive on the north side of the building. Yeah, and there's nothing really there. It's just dirt. So it's one of those things you don't really go in if it's wet. You just kind of like you don't go in the field when it's wet.
Yeah.
So, and it shouldn't say storage, it should say just unloading, correct? Did it
It just says
Outdoor unloading.
unloading?
space.
Okay. I didn't know if you
And
said.
I
outdoor
wasn't sure
storage.
how they got there.
Just-
Just they drive through the building.
You, basically you'd have to go on the north side along the back side of the building.
Okay.
And it's
Where
not,
it's just dirt.
yeah, but it's just
Or
dirt and
grass.
grass, yeah. I didn't wanna lose all the grass, so.
Yeah.
Nice to have a yard yet.
I'll make a motion to approve the CUP for 1864 Meadowview Lane for Tyler Bronkhorst.
Your motion should also acknowledge that all the conditions have
The
been considered
conditions.
satisfied.
Yeah, all our standards and conditions for use no permits has been met.
I will second. Motion by Tom, second by Troy to approve the request for the CUP. I was gonna ask a question to both of you. Do you feel it necessary that we address outdoor storage?
Wouldn't hurt.
I don't necessarily want to say absolutely positively, no way outdoor storage, especially like if he brings in a piece of equipment, or say, for example, a piece of equipment is dropped off the night before the following day he's going to work on it, okay?
I don't think you can even have outdoor storage with a limited family business. It all has to take place inside a building. I don't think it's.
Correct, but would someone consider just that exact situation, say somebody dropped something off the night before to work on the following day, would that be considered by some or the county to be outside storage? I personally wouldn't particularly look at it that way.
You could just put a sentence in it, include a note that's no outside storage on a continuing basis. Incidental would be okay.
Or long-term
Yeah, long-term.
basis. No long-term storage.
Outside storage. I think we're out on something like that.
I'm just trying to look out for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't wanna have a problem, just something sitting there. How short is,
What if
outdoor
it's,
storage?
what
10
if
minutes?
it's something Tyler owns? Let's say he's got himself a dump truck and it sits there. Who's to determine if it's his or not, or if it's being stored?
Somebody will ask the question, and I'm just I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly here. I'm just trying to
Understand.
look at it.
Right.
Others may look at things, very narrowly.
I understand.
I would assume anything over 24 hours that would consider storage. If it's there for under 24 hours or less.
No long-term storage would be helpful, just so we don't have a number on it, so I'm not getting
I would
down
agree.
to the minute. 'Cause
You're only
sometimes,
gonna get it if somebody complains, just remember that.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be sitting there watching,
What's the clock?
24 hours.
Yeah. Well, it'd be better to leave it in a little bag, just because, if you have a piece of equipment sitting there that you can't move,
Waiting for a part or something.
yeah.
What was that?
Waiting for parts or something, like, let's
Sure.
say.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta understand what Chris is talking about. Part two is you get somebody to drop a mailer, use that example, drop it off for you to fix, you're on vacation for a week. It sits there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider that storage. It's just sitting there until you get back.
Yeah.
I see somebody shaking their head in the background.
Yeah.
So Steve, you're proposing some sort of terminology in there that gives him some leeway for leaving something sit out for a short period of time?
No, long-term sounds
Yeah.
good to me. I mean, I don't intend to leave anything outside.
Just put in no long-term
Storage.
storage.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Do that. Okay, put that in my motion, please.
I'll second it again.
Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around.
Next item, Frankie's Landscape LLC petitioner and property owner, parcel 0711-273-4023-0, lot 3 of the Swalheim Business Park.
I think you should be sure to handle these separately, the CUP and the design review. CUP's motion goes to the county. Design review is only here.
Good evening, all of you. I don't know if you guys remember from last meeting. My name is Francisco. I'm just accompanied by two others. My dad, Francisco, as well. He's the owner. And Travis with Theory. So we're going to go first. So yeah, today we're looking at our lot 3 of Swalheim, which is what we purchased. We closed back in November for it, and these are our plans for what we plan on doing on this lot for our business. Everything is on there as far as the shop space, the office, the outdoor storage area, all the above. And yeah, we're just intending to get moving on this slightly quickly. We understand the formality to it, and that's why we're here. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have regarding anything you see on the conditional use permit, on the plan. Anything I can't answer, Travis will help me answer. This is the one helping develop this as well. So,
Did you get a set of these?
I probably have one in my, let's see, I might, I know what copy that is, and I read it, but might not have it with me.
It's okay if you didn't bring it with you. Just
I-
just you got it.
I don't have it in here, but I think those same questions. Sure, why not? Thank you. And as far as the building, when we get to that point, I have some samples of what the colors will look like, kind of, we did the one last meeting. And I have some pictures to show you. We should brick facade on the street side too. Some idea that we have to get that 3 foot of brick veneer on the street facing side. As the order.
So I'm gonna ask Mark, would you say for number 2, section B, when you talked about vehicles, rusty equipment, stuff like that, would you recommend adding trailers to that?
You certainly could. I think a trailer would be considered a vehicle, but if you wanted to be belt and suspenders, adding trailers to a list of restricted items that are inoperable, unlicensed, dilapidated, severely rusted or unpainted.
So how many trailers do you have?
Right now, we have 2. There's gonna be room in the future to maybe grow the business, obviously, in the future. But right now, we only keep it simple. We have an enclosed trailer and a dump trailer. We use a dump trailer to move our equipment around. And the closed trailer just to store stuff in there. One thing I have in my notes I want to mention as well, just a reassurance to everybody, anything that will be stored outside will be taken well care of. I mean, I'm gonna be bringing clients here and stuff, when we do design reviews for artwork and stuff. Presentation matters. I'm not gonna have a sloppy mess outside at all. I mean, we're gonna be organizing things kind of like the guy here, Tyler, was talking about. I mean, we're the same, we're really neat and tidy people. My dad's really picky with our equipment and then trucks and everything. So I just want to get that off the way first. So good thing you mentioned it. Ring the bell in my head. So yeah, sorry.
Nope, that's fine. Thank you.
I can kind of jump in. We've done quite a bit of renderings with Mark and going back and forth and making sure everything is what is up to standard for him. And so we've renditioned this quite a bit, right, Mark? Of revisions. So
Yeah, there've been some back and forth. I know Nick to my right has a few minor comments on final tidying of plans, I guess I'd call it. But what Travis and Francisco are saying is correct. They've worked with us over the last few months to get the plans to where they are. The building plans meet the standards in the design review ordinance. The landscape plan does. Lighting is very modest. And in combination, the screening meets the standards for outdoor storage, I believe, in town ordinances and the counties, subject to the conditions that Troy was referring to a little bit more. And I'm happy to go through this. I know we have a big agenda. I'm also happy to respond to questions, whatever you prefer.
Your 7 passenger trucks, are those pickups or like 1-ton trucks?
They're 1-ton. They're regular like Chevy C4500s, dump trucks. So they're under CDL. That gets you a sense. So they're under 26,000. They're not.
Okay, that's the seven single axle dump trucks.
Correct. Some of them are mixed. So some are like we have like 2 Ford F550s, and then we got like another 3 Chevy C4500s. So that gives you a sense. That's what we have right now. We have a couple more, but that's our fleet essentially. There's nothing heavier or bigger than that. No quad axles, no tandems, none of that. Everything is under CDL. We'll keep it that way. Just keep it simple.
And they all have your name on it.
Exactly.
And what was that? They all have your name on it.
Yeah, Frankie's last name, right there.
Mark, as far as the CUP is concerned, seems to meet all the standards.
Yeah, I believe it does. I mean, the key with outdoor storage is, a couple things: aesthetics, just making sure it's, looks all right, presents a quality appearance to the public. And, I think secondarily to make sure that there's not anything being stored out there that would, affect the groundwater or result in contamination. And I think with these conditions, this meets that standard. The other thing that we worked with Francisco and Travis on is just making sure we have a building, at the same time we have the outdoor storage. And so there's a condition there that, basically says you can't store anything there until you got the building up and running and you have the screening around the site.
I can kind of touch on that because it's been a misconception with the county. I think that Frankie applied for a conditional use permit before and tried without the building, which the county has always had in their head that we're trying to do the outdoor before the building. The building is coming first now, so.
That was a misconception. That
Yeah.
really is. So I kind of briefly mentioned that last time, but yeah, like Travis said, 100%. We need that building up first. Once that's done, we can work up the next.
It's kind of hard to see, but the building's fairly small.
It's a 40 by 40, I believe, the shop space, and a 24 by 28, if I'm not mistaken, the office space. So it's not terribly small, but it's fair enough for what we need for now.
So when we talk about screening, material, anything that would be out in the open, would be towards the back.
It would be behind it, behind the building and behind a fence
Okay.
where the building isn't there to block it.
Yeah,
And then there's also, in addition to that, landscaping forward from the fence and the building.
Okay.
yeah. And it's gonna, not only for screening, but all that stuff's kind of for security too. I mean, we're gonna have ample trucks and equipment out there. So, it's a win-win, I guess. It hits towards its bullet point for, screening and also do some security for stuff, so.
Kind of unrelated, but related. Do you have any plans for any type of alarm system or security system back there?
Yeah, so there'll be some type of security system. I haven't given it a full thought.
Reason why I say is because of the fact that the town just recently updated their ordinance with regards to security systems.
Okay.
There are penalties for excessive false alarms, and stuff like that,
Okay.
that would require a response from emergency services. So
Makes sense.
just keep that in mind
Perfect, thank you.
when it's designed and operating and so on and so forth. That's our reason why I bring it
Good to
up.
know. And I can pass these out if you want, the colors, if you guys want me to, or I can hold them up, whatever you want.
We're gonna get through our CUP first.
Oh, COP first?
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
that's all right.
He actually wrote out all his answers to the standards, so you didn't get those cut off versions, so that should be in your packet. That's the one that has an underlined 6/1/26 update, that page is their answers to the.
County's now requesting everybody do that instead of just making an application where you can read it.
Yeah.
You have to put it on a separate form and type it twice, which is real fun. But yeah, so they requested that I type everything in a different format so you could read it.
The box realistically can only fit like 2 sentences, I think, on the application,
it's-
right? It's kind of outdated, but
But
Everybody find that, it should be in the CUP
Yeah.
portion of your, yeah.
When you say how many, you got about 5 employees now?
right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't see any issues in there.
the one thing from the county's perspective, the only thing in the conditional use permit that's been not really a sticking point, but one of their things with a completed application is a septic inspection and a septic plan. I've talked to health services, and they've basically told me, based on the number of occupants that are gonna be in this facility, that we could just do a holding tank. However, they're not going to do that right away. That's not within my scope, so they're looking at doing it at a future time. They didn't really want to spend the money to try to get a septic inspection done when it's essentially unrelated to the conditional use permit, I guess. But the county was kind of a little bit weird about that, I guess. So the plan is just to put a holding tank in, and based on what I've talked with health services, they're okay with that. However, he did say that he works with your guys' system to make sure that you allow for that.
So I was gonna talk about the holding tank under design review, because the holding
Fair
tank
enough then,
is
sorry.
not really, the conditional use is for outdoor storage.
Correct.
So I was definitely gonna talk about that.
Fair enough.
So as your business grows, will you have ample air to bring in, like say, you get an extra trailer, extra skid loader, another truck?
Yes,
Will you have ample area to grow into without doing additions?
yes, correct. That's why the
Right.
pad is pretty big.
Pretty big size. compared to
Yeah, he's got a
the-
pretty good sized lot here.
Yeah, okay.
40 by 40.
That's the building.
Right, that's
He's
the
got-
storage area.
He's got a fair-
You know, that's inside the building.
Yeah, the storage area is considerably larger.
Yeah.
Outside, the outside kind of, the outside.
Oh, that's the
storage.
building. So there's how many buildings are on there?
Just one.
They're all
The
together.
shop area and
The
then
shop.
like an office area.
Yeah, that's the 24 by 24 is the shop area. Or, I'm
Or,
sorry.
That's the office.
That's the
And then the
office.
40 by 40 is the
It's the
storage
shop.
shop.
And they're connected.
Yeah, so that's 1,600 square feet.
Well,
Yeah.
The CUP is for outdoor storage,
For
and there's
outdoor
plenty of outdoor storage. is what he's saying.
Which is,
Okay.
10 to 15 times the area of that building.
The shop space is gonna be minimal storage, but more for maintaining our equipment and stuff. Maybe little.
Servicing.
I was just
maybe
reading
service.
on,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sounds like it's rolling.
Anybody else have any comments or questions up here? I'll open it up to the public. Anybody wish to make any comments, questions? Nobody online, Kim?
Can't see anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the CUP for Frankie's Landscape. You need the CUP number 2712.
And again, you should include that you reviewed all of the standards and you considered them satisfied, and then you want to add Mark's conditions, right?
Is 3.
Yes. So the standard, the All-Star are 8 conditional use standards that have been met, and they also need to abide by Mark Crawford's recommendations.
Second.
Who was the second? Oh, Chris. Motion by Tom, second by Chris to approve the CUP. Noting that all the conditions have been met and including the recommendations from the town planner.
The addition, Mark, you had trailers, okay?
Yeah, if you wanted to suggest and trailers to 2B, and Tom and Chris agreed to that,
Yeah,
then
I agree with that.
The addition of trailers to 2B of Mark Crawford.
All right. Everybody okay with the motion and the second? Hearing nothing else, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay. Then one question I have is for fire, will they need a Knox box?
Yes. That's required.
You say
If
no?
they have to gain entry.
What was the question? Do they need a Knox box?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll need a Knox box.
Is that standard to all the buildings down there pretty much?
Anything for it.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, does our fire department give out that information
Yeah.
to, okay, you know what a Knox box is?
Are those the ones where you break, well, not break, but the glass?
It has a secure box on the outside with keys to your facilities that
Particular key.
only the fire department
I
has a key to get in
Okay.
in
So they
case they
don't have
have.
to break your door down.
Okay, I thought those, not, sounds like the ones. where-
All the
you know which ones I'm
above.
talking about. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, I'll reach, Travis will probably reach out to them, for he's probably used to it more than we are.
No, they don't buy them through the fire department. It's,
They kind of do, yeah.
yeah, it's,
I'll do a fire inspection, that'll come up.
I guess I'll ask, starting with the septic system, Mark.
yeah, the trigger here is that on the site plan that the applicant put together, there is a spot for a sanitary holding tank. And so that, triggered the town plans policy regarding holding tanks. And that policy has a few components. First off, it's maybe a chicken and egg thing, but the applicant needs to demonstrate by a report completed by a soil or environmental scientist, which could be the county sanitarian, that an offsite waste treatment system is not feasible. So it's not a system of choice, it's a system of last resort. So if there's a potty that needs to be flushed and a septic or mound system will work, then that's what's supposed to be used. The second thing is if there is a holding tank that, if they pass that first test, and a holding tank is the only system that can be used, they would have to submit a service contract with a plumber, DNR licensed plumber to you guys. That he's got a system to get it pumped regularly. And then there'd be annual and semi-annual reports that would need to be submitted as well. And then the third requirement or recommendation for the town plan is that there be a holding tank agreement with the town that requires the owner to pay for all charges associated with inspection of the system, pumping, monitoring, and that if such charges are not paid, the town would place a charge on the tax roll. Basically the key with a holding tank is that it only works if it's maintained and regularly maintained. And so those are sort of protections to make sure that it would be. So those are all listed if you turn the page of my report on the second page under 2C. Basically saying that, unless they decide now we're not going to do a holding tank, that they would have to abide by those three criteria kind of in order to make a holding tank be their system there.
And refresh my memory, I thought Dwayne said that these lots did perk minimally at.
Yeah.
There were certain areas, specific areas. That's
Oh,
why.
correct, but I'm just saying, it's not like it's an automatic holding tank.
No,
This property will perk, I can promise you. If you remember, Mark, what was the first one of those standards, if you remember?
Demonstration through a report completed by a soil environmental scientist that an on-site waste treatment system is not feasible. And then that report would have to be accepted by the county sanitarian.
There was another term they used in there, but when I talked to the sanitarian, he said, hey, listen, townships will allow us, if you can present me information saying based on the usage that it's burdensome to put in a field. You guys have
Yeah,
authority.
it's not a
No,
standard,
so
yeah.
that's okay if that's what he had told me, which is fine either way. So.
We added the holding tank, as Mark had just mentioned, as a device of last resort.
Gotcha. There's enough room where we have it designed.
Because there were areas that might have been ripe for development, but we didn't have anything in our ordinances that would have allowed anything but a more conventional type of sewage treatment.
Isn't that where it's showing holding tank, they got all this area for.
There's enough room there where the holding tank is to put a 2-cell system. So not really, originally speaking, the developer that had plotted this map had shown that where the basin was a designated septic system. Upon how we graded this thing or how the natural flow of this property worked, that's why we ended up putting the catch basin or the retention basin where it was at, just based on natural grading. And then we were, like I say, where it says holding tank there, which would be to the southwest of the building, there's plenty of, the system that they're going to have to put in based on the usage that they have is going to be very small. Whether it's going to be small regardless.
That's why we're leaning towards a holding tank. Obviously, I know Mark mentioned all the bullet points we had to hit. It's a last resort. I know there's a business on the west side of Madison, that's Southern County. I know stuff changes. Obviously, it's a different government, but either way, I know they have a holding tank and they have like 15 to 20 employees. Kalini Topsoil, they have a holding tank out there, and I know that has nothing to do with usage. At least as far as getting a holding tank, I'm just explaining why we hope to get it as one of the reasons. and I understand that as a last resort though, you know, we're putting our thoughts out there. That makes sense. And I know Travis said he spoke to the health services person. And
It really won't be a big deal to put a 1 or 2 cell system where that is. It's not gonna really affect the
But
cost on
I'm
that.
not disagreeing with
It's fine
anything.
either way.
Yeah, the development, if you remember, was the original plat had a lot of lots that were not adequate for drainage, so then it was remodified and configured to set up and accommodate the drainage system instead of just a holding tank.
If you remember the last one we did last month for Elements, I just perked that last week, and where that septic system was designed at, on the top of that hill, which would be the western side, which is lower than where he's at, it perked fine. However, the eastern side of the lot down where the well one didn't perk. So we kind of knew where it wasn't going to and placed it on our plan, which was approved where we knew it was going to. So I don't anticipate that this is gonna, I anticipate that where he's at is kind of on top of that, it'll perk out.
One thing with adding that, you just make sure you keep your separation distance from your well to there. So you might have to move your well location due to that if you get closer.
So you had some colors.
Yeah. So I'm not wrong.
The walls are gray, all the trim is white, and the roof and the wainscoting, other than the brick is black.
So yeah, this is the siding, trim, and the roof.
Pretty much what you showed us last
Yeah,
time.
it was a little different, but pretty close to
Yeah.
what he had. It's kind of heavy. I can hold it.
No, that's fine.
It's like you're holding weights right here and start curling curls and stuff. I don't think, yeah.
Do you know where the well is located?
On the roof. On the roof. And then this is the walls and then.
I did.
Yeah, you can see it on the elevation plan.
See,
It's to the west of that, Chris.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah, on the west end of the site plan, west of the driveway.
And then also, I'll show you a picture of what we want to use for the brick facade. That's all right. I'm sure I did it over. For this product, start over here or wherever. It's a hardscape product, but it can be used for veneer, mortarless veneer with clips on the back that you screw on, kind of like Rosetta Stone, if you've heard of that. But it's a actual brick facade. It's just screwed on, and it's meant you can use it like this.
okay.
See, it's cool. Yeah. And so it's a hardscape product, so it's
The
used
gray
for a lot of
and the
different
black.
things.
Yeah, I think it looks nice.
Very nice, this.
Lighting.
We're keeping it very minimal, as Travis said. We only have those can lights, right? That's all we have on there.
There's just can wafer lights in the soffit of the office. There's not any external like wall packs. They're literally down.
Oh, just in the soffit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we propose. We're not doing anything, any external lighting like anything else other than that. So I believe Nick had asked about if we could get a lighting plan all the way to the property line. To be perfectly honest, my electrician was out, so he wasn't able to give me that plan. But again, they're not going to be dusted on. They're going to be on a switch inside. Again, they're just cam lights. They're not like they're putting out 20,000 lumens. They're pretty minimal. So
On 24 hours basically, or
we can do whatever they really want, or you guys want. If we can put them on timers, we can put them on switches, we can do really whatever. I would assume that they would like them on for security at night potentially. There's only, I believe there's only 2 lights per side. So there's 2 in the back side, 2 in the end, which would be facing west, and 2 on the south. I believe in the plan. it's pretty minimal. We're not suggesting any, like say, any external yard lighting, any dusted on, floodlights, nothing like that, so.
Given the lighting levels, it would probably be advisable for them to keep all or most of those on all night for security.
I'm assuming that's not all gonna be parking lot in the back.
No, that's just for storage. Yeah. No, the only parking is what you see right by the shop right.
6 spots.
6 spots, I believe, is what was proposed. Yeah.
I'm looking at the basically the crosshatch on there, and it shows it's all the same, all the features.
Like blacktop.
I think Nick had a point, and some of his questions that came a little bit later after I had already, given the plans, to Kim about the handicap accessibility one. On C400 and C600, I noted that, stall 5 would probably be our most beneficial to make handicap accessible. It's got to be within 1% grade of the door, so it's the one that's closest. So,
They'll also need to add a walkway to get to the door.
yes.
There will be.
And the landing.
Yeah, yep.
Access.
There will be on here.
The surfacing, Troy, the sheet C500 is the best job, I suppose, as indicating the surfacing. The driveway, as you enter the site from the north, the driveway will be paved. The rest of it is proposed to be gravel, including the parking space area.
I just think the parking spaces need to be paved for ADA.
Yeah, I mentioned that it would definitely be beneficial. ADA, reading the language doesn't state it, but it says it wants a firm, stable and slip resistant surface identified, where the rest of the parking area gravel, it's not a problem with just that particular ADA or parking areas. It would be beneficial, particularly the ADA.
We are planning to pave the ADA parking, either like pavers or blacktop. And I know you with, one last one, we replaced it. You guys gave it 3 years. We asked for the same time frame. We do it last sort of 3 years.
I think more of than anything, a lot of these lots you're gonna see in this specific development, as far as the paving is concerned, setting a time frame is a pretty good alternative, because let's be real, these lots are not small, right? So there's advanced, or they could potentially need another building in 2 to 3 years, and otherwise you'd have these weird patch jobs and paving in and out. So I'm not saying we're trying to do as minimal as possible to start, but we try to hopefully Frankie's landscaping is expanding in the next 3 or 4 years, and we're building another building. We don't need a patch job, and we're back in front of you again for another site plan review, right? So that's kind of ideally what it is, but and that's kind of what we did on elements too, was that term, which is what he's seeking, I believe. I don't think there's a lot of paved. I know that the other lot's jurisdiction was before site plan review, but I don't think that there's anything else out there in that district that's really paved yet, other than the roads.
I'm not fully following the conversation, but I would recommend that the driveway entrance be paved on day one to prevent the tracking of gravel onto the public street.
Yeah, I second that one.
I don't have a strong preference about the parking spaces 1 through 6, except that they do need to meet, the ADA minimum requirements for that space.
The only thing, sorry.
I was gonna say, if they are gravel, which ADA, me reading through it, didn't specify gravel couldn't be it, but if you're plowing it, it could then eventually potential slopes not be ADA as well from one season to the next.
And the reason we want to avoid paving the driveway, I know they mentioned it, but why we're trying to avoid it is with the trucks and stuff coming in and out. After time, that stuff's gonna get pretty beat up. That's kind of our argument against it, but I'm listening otherwise. And
Frankly, I hope it doesn't beat up the public street then, that's
Right.
right outside of it.
Well, it's all about the thickness of it. So
I would agree with only on the section of when you say day one of are we talking day one of occupancy or are we taking day one of starting? Because I'm not gonna lay a blacktop pad and then drive quad axles across it and dump gravel because I'm gonna ruin it. So we're all, okay. So that's up to you. I mean, that's up to you guys' interpretation or whatever. So, Frank.
I would say occupancy, but you're,
Fair enough.
you're responsible for anything that gets tracked onto the.
For sure. We always put tracking pads into these things with riprap. So, yeah.
It would seem to me, based upon the size and weight of the trucks, that you'd almost have to pave something heavier or thicker rather than a normal residential type, just by virtue of the fact that, you know, you've got your big trucks going in and out, so.
You'd do a 4-inch double course binder is what you'd probably end up doing. I would have guessed, you know, that kind of stuff too, Tom. I mean, it wouldn't be, you're right, it wouldn't be a 2.5, 3-inch pave. It would be a 2-course pave that's 4 inches, 3-4 inches somewhere in there.
At least,
What's that?
at least, you know, you're probably gonna have semis delivering bulk or something. and
Every now and then, not
so
really.
That's
So
your heavy stuff right there.
we wouldn't want it super long, you know, whatever, not to do the bare minimum, but you know, nothing excessive, like Travis was mentioning.
The big thing is undercut.
The base, the asphalt's only as good as the base.
Right. Good basin.
Well, right now, the plan as written and as shown on C500 says the full length of the driveway will be paved with asphalt. And so if I'm asked to look at this site before occupancy, I'm gonna look to see that that's asphalt paved the way the plan is written. So if that's what's approved tonight, that's what's going to be enforced.
Right. That's what I took it as for my interpretation too.
Yeah.
Am I interpreting C500 correctly, that the paving would come in from the street to a line equidistant to the rear elevation or the rear line of the building? Is that correct?
That's how I read it as well.
The rear line of the building.
C500. Yeah, I just want to make sure that's what I was.
Yeah.
And then Mark had some notes about vegetation, trees. In his notes.
Yeah, their landscape plan that they've submitted is, and towards the end of their packet meets the town's requirements. That's another thing that unless weather prohibits it, you know, in other words, they're keeping occupancy in January, the landscaping should be planted before outdoor storage happens, before the building is open.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So they get the outdoor storage when they get their occupancy, basically.
Correct. So there is an investment that needs to happen in advance of opening up this operation.
Yeah. Well aware it's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of contracts, we'll make that up.
Yeah, we got the word, but it takes time. Want to get this stuff out the way first, and then one step at a time. Just a brief question, if you want, so we can't alter any of these plans, if whatever's approved, plans approved.
I apologize on the plan that the civil engineer put asphalt drive, and I apologize. I thought it was labeled as bituminous driveway, so that's the civil engineering fault. But hey, yeah.
Because yeah, if I could make changes, I don't want to, because I don't want to delay anything, but I would shorten that to whatever you guys would be okay with. That's pretty fairly long. I mean, we don't need that all the way up here.
I asked for a minimum of 50 feet.
50 feet length.
And you proposed this, and I wasn't gonna tell you, you can't do this.
Okay. Well, that was
not my job to tell you, hey, the minimum's this, what you're doing too much.
That's a misinterpretation between
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
engineer, but
Yeah.
that's what we would shoot for, minimum. Require we do 50 feet from the street.
From the property line.
Property line.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yep.
The property line isn't necessarily the street pavement line. Yeah, knock point. You got
Street
it.
is right here.
Yep, you got it, Frank.
Probably like yay there,
That's roughly.
roughly.
So yeah, the goal is to, minimize the amount of gravel that gets on the public
Yeah.
street, that all that stuff gets kind of tracked onto your driveway and you have to, deal with it on your.
The current
Or
plan,
ends up in your windshield.
the current plan on C500 shows 70 feet of driveway instead of 50. So just to give you an idea of length of what it actually shows.
Yeah, so then the question is whether you just want to, end it where it's a logical ending point rather than have 20 feet of gravel driveway before you even to the storage yard to the north.
And then where you show the parking spaces, that's what you're gonna have.
Yeah, for parking, yes, that's for people visit, for homeowners come and.
That's
Yeah.
Was there a door that was moved?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the original plans, but whatever's here is what's here, so.
I think the latest plan set has the door in the right spot on the north side of the building.
Correct.
So what they'll need to do is add a walkway from those parking spaces to that door, which you don't see it on the plans.
Right.
I don't know if I'm missing it or not, but on page A0.1, one of it's got lot 3 in the lower left-hand corner. If you're looking at the building, to the right of the building, you see the 3 trees there along the street, but behind it, I see a whole bunch of, are those the arborvitaes? I have just, okay.
Arborvitae and
Yeah,
shrubs.
those were the 4-footers.
Yep.
And what's the spacing on them?
Can't remember off the top of my head. I think we did
27 of them.
I think we did 4 to 6.
27 of them.
I know, there's a lot, but which is good.
Whatever the thing, I think it was 4 or 6, whatever your requirement was. I can't remember.
I would judge it on the width of a parking space, which is usually about 10 feet. So if you just want to eyeball it.
That's what, yeah, I can't
I'd
remember.
say they're
Okay.
4 or 5 feet
It's
apart
all
from one another.
27 of the black. 27.
Yeah, I was here. Yes.
For the count.
Yeah, I was
Every
hoping it
one of
was
those.
the arborvitae. 4-footers and nice starting height.
There's
Yeah.
also a fence that runs that
Yep, there's
behind
fence.
those arborvitaes to the east and then back to the north also, so.
Kind of wraps around.
Yeah.
Yep, it connects from the corner and goes to the corner of the easement. Yeah. Wraps around a little bit.
In the end of the packet has the fence or an example of what fence they're proposing.
The one that's got the picture of the camper behind it. And it's the little tiny photograph.
The little tiny photograph. that's-
Yeah.
Not the greatest example, but.
It's a 6-footer. It's a strong, I think it's a real strong effort to screen them.
I would agree.
And like I said, yeah, presentation means a lot to us, so.
I'm sorry.
The presentation of the site means a lot to us. I mean, we bring a lot of people, homeowners, I gotta have good representation, I don't wanna have people, I don't wanna have our site looking like a slob. Some part of the language, but yeah.
So which stone and which mulch are you?
We're
going to use?
deciding.
You gave us 2.
I know, we're
options.
still deciding, it's one of the 2, and the only change is the colors. We'll probably end up honestly either mixing the 2 or just one or the other. Those are 2 of the most common and the favorites, really. It might change by the area, it's the same with the mulch, probably mainly use one brown mulch, but it just depends whenever you get to start laying out, you get to decide what was better. Unless you want to turn answers today, but I never, that's how I typically do most of presentations, I just use 2 rough and then we'll go from there.
I would say go with the 2-inch wash stone and the brown dye.
Yeah, I like a plan of me.
And you are gonna excavate the full area into the property.
Correct, we're doing all the site work, correct, correct.
Okay.
That's the advantage, you know, we have all the equipment and stuff to do that. All the trucks and everything. That, my dad was 35 years, it was a piece of cake for me, just do the site work. Yeah. Just easy.
Anybody else have any comments?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the petition for Frankie's Landscaping. Plans provided, to construct the building as provided. Parcel number 0711-273-4023-0. And I'll ask if there's any additions to my motion.
You want to include Mark's 5 conditions?
I will include Mark's 5 conditions.
And not to interrupt you, Troy, but one of the conditions is that he also meets,
Next,
that's embedded in my conditions, so.
Okay.
So we're not ignoring Nick here.
So Nick's, Mark's conditions, which also includes Nick's condition.
That's right.
Okay.
And did you want to add a condition about how soon they have to, how much of that driveway they have to pay? Because that's not in yours, right?
Right, well, that's why I said as presented.
As presented would be the full.
Would be
Yeah, it's
70.
it's about 70 feet, as Travis said, versus the minimum 50 recommendation, so it's.
Okay with that?
That's what it takes, yeah. We want 50, but I'm not gonna say final.
It's not that much more once they move in.
All right, yeah, I hear you.
trucks are there anyway.
Are you, anything on the holding tank?
That's one of the conditions.
That's one of his conditions.
Okay. I'll second his motion.
Motion by Troy, second by Chris. To approve the design review
No, conditional use.
and, what's that?
That was already done.
You knocked that out already.
And with the addition of the town planner and the town engineer's recommendations. And that was it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you guys for your time and consideration.
So the CUP still needs to go to the town board. That'll be on July 6th.
Could you send me those? Because I didn't get a copy of your guys'
It's
too.
linked on the agenda.
Perfect. Got
So,
it. Perfect.
That's on Monday.
yep.
Correct.
Perfect, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you guys, you have a wonderful
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Next item, Corey Clemens petitioner, Dunroven Ridge LLC, property owner, parcel 0711-101-2497-0 on Kennedy Road, for final plat review for Kennedy Hills, second edition. Do you want to kick it off, Mike?
Oh, sure. So, this would be the final 29 lots, in Kennedy Hills. The town has approved the preliminary plat, winter time. So this is the final plat for this, particular edition. The, I guess noteworthy aspects of it is it completes, road connections with Conestoga to the north and provides as you might recall, a kind of a creative solution to parking lot access and stormwater management in the northeast corner of the plat, making use of part of the Kennedy Hills Park. The engineering plans that I think were included in your packet show that kind of general arrangement of parking lot and stormwater management in that area. The county, as I understand it, has already conditionally approved the final plat. It's in your packet is a resolution that Chris led preparation of that would, if you were supportive of the plat, would provide your recommendation to the town board. There are a few loose ends, as there often are during this stage of the process. They're covered in Nick's memo that he can speak to better than me. I've got a couple of items in mind, some administrative, still would need covenants for this particular plat. I think the first edition covenants probably 90% or 90% of the way there for the language that would be required. I had a comment on one of their plans. It's the one with red on it, called the removals plan. It suggested the removal of what looked to me like all the trees on their property on the north line. I kind of questioned that because it didn't seem like the grading would require it. So I had some comments in my report asking whether that is in fact necessary.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah,
Sorry,
great.
I'm way in the back. I'm just gonna.
Chris, I think you had it. I think it's that.
So I saw it last time we were here, and it's been a couple of months now, so I might not be remembering it perfectly. We were discussing that a lot of those trees are just like weed trees along the lot line. So we were thinking, based on last time, that we'd rather have that drainage swale pushed closer to the lot line to give people more room in their yards and to keep them from accidentally like grading in that area if it's sticking out into their yard more. We can definitely go out and like mark trees if they're worth saving. I think I just misunderstood because I thought they were all kind of junk trees anyways. And then we did pull the pond off of the outlot, northern lot line to get more room in there in between the lot line and pond for like access to for maintenance. So it's possible that didn't get updated where we shouldn't need to really grade in there at this point. And county doesn't like it if you grade within 5 feet of the property line anyways. So we're definitely not trying to cut down trees if they're good trees.
Yeah, I'm not saying I had a different understanding. It might have been a little gray.
Yeah.
I think the general direction was to, I don't want to say survey is the wrong word, but to assess the quality of the trees. And I don't know, if you've done that or if you've had, an arborist or someone with skills take a look at.
Yeah, I'd have to get one of our landscape guys out there and take a look.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's looking to preserve invasive, box elder or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, if there are high quality trees, like with the large wooded area to the south, we just don't want to, clear cut them.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of that drainage way, maybe you guys can speak to that. I didn't know. Is it in the final plat? Is it in fact now on the lot line?
I believe that's where it ended up.
Yeah, that's what's shown on the plans and the final plat, which would then mean if there is trees that are going to be saved in that area, that drainage ditch would be pushed further to the south, meaning that drainage easement should be widened from the lot line towards the south. I would just, instead of shifting, it's 20 feet wide, just making it instead of 20 feet, now it becomes like 40 feet or 50 feet wide. And those trees are left in there in that drainage easement, but then the main swale is still, does not affect some of those trees.
Yeah, I looked at the grading plan and it didn't look like the swale was right on the line, but I might have been mistaken there too.
I think we've gone back and forth a couple times, just based on the trees.
I wouldn't say right on that line, but just, yeah, just a smidge to the south, a lot closer to the line than what previously
Yeah.
submitted months ago. I hear you.
Before we had it just outside of the tree line.
Well, if I'm a homeowner to the north, I generally would prefer if there's a nice oak or maple or something just south of the property line. If it can be retained, it would be better for me. So I just suggest a little bit more work there before the backhoe comes out and takes everything down.
Further investigation.
That's all I have to say in introduction, but I'm happy to contribute further as needed.
You're number 7. Parkland, you want to run through that? I'm not sure I understand.
Sure. All right. Well, the bottom line is that the amount of park dedication they have provided already and are proposing to provide meets the minimum amount required by ordinance. And we looked at both the added space within outlot 3, that would be park space. We included the parking. I included the parking lot and that space to the north of the parking lot that is kind of traced out as a soccer field. I did not include the stormwater portion of that outlot as park because that's not anywhere to play. And then
It had been park.
and then for the portion of so we got that, the total of the parking lot space in outlot 3 and the soccer field space in outlot 3. And then I subtracted out the space in the corner of the current American Heritage Park that would be helping with stormwater management. So on a net, even considering all that, they have more than enough park land in this plat than they would require.
Okay.
So I can go through the actual numbers there, but that was what I was trying to communicate.
To get to.
Yeah.
In the first phase, his last phase, did they have to pay a parkland dedication?
The second phase is, yes.
Second phase
Yeah.
is?
The first phase, we also collected park fees, because
Yeah.
some of those were used for the playground eventually.
So you're suggesting in phase 3 that we not charge that?
Yeah. So if you move on to number 8, so we've got actually 2 fees. One's a fee if you don't dedicate enough parkland. And I just said that in my opinion, they have. And then there's a second fee that's called a recreation improvement impact fee.
Yeah.
That's to put up swing sets and build parking lots and parks and things like that. And it's my impression that the developer, when they improve the roads in this development, that they're also going to build a parking lot within the new park space to serve all of American Heritage Park.
Right.
And I'm not an engineer or a math whiz, but it seemed to me that the value of that is going to be over $33,000, which would otherwise be what these 29 lots would pay for a park improvement impact fee. Recreation improvement impact fee.
Okay.
So unless Nick, you disagree.
I do not disagree.
So, yeah, in conclusion, I guess I would agree. I think, and Chris can comment on this, either you should recommend a waiver of that park of recreation improvement impact fee for this development on that condition, or the town board should recommend it, because that's written as a requirement, in the town's
I
ordinance.
think both. My commission should recommend it so that the town board remembers to approve it.
You're gonna get a lot of pushback from new residents, some paying and some not.
Well, note that it does on the actual plat say that the recreational improvement impact fee will be paid at the time of a building permit. So if that is going to be waived, that needs to be removed from the plat document. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the developer's representative, but if you were to require a parking lot be paved and collect a recreation improvement impact fee, it seems like double dipping to me. And I heard your comment, and I think it's just gonna require an explanation. Why did I have to pay the fee and why I didn't have to? Well, in this phase, the developer built this beautiful parking lot that's worth way more than what we would have contributed. The town could, as an alternative, say, nah, forget it, we don't want the parking lot. And then you would collect the $33,000, which would get you, 7 spaces. I'm making that up. A lesser improvement.
It's entirely possible that the cost of parking lot will be present in lot prices. So that's the nature of the recreational impact fee, is when it's not present in the lot prices.
Good point.
So what you're saying is the developer could vary that, instead of his lot price being 125, it could be 127.5 or whatever he chooses to charge to that.
Exactly.
So like the old Fram commercial, pay me now or pay me later kind of thing. It just,
Mark, where were the, number 4, when it talks about the test pits, are they on this drawing? Are they in these drawings?
When it talks about the what?
Test pits. Number 4,
For the
preliminary,
septic?
yeah, for septics.
I'm not sure which drawing you're referring to.
Well, I don't know if there is a drawing.
No.
And here,
There's a separate figure. I didn't put it in the plan set, but
Oh.
I could certainly send it to you guys. It's
Oh.
pretty evenly spaced.
Yeah.
so you've read Mark's recommendations. So what are your feelings about number 4?
Well, we work with Grothman, who does septic testing all the time,
Yeah.
because I'm not an expert on that by any means. And his recommendation was that almost all the test pits are great. He says there's 2 that he's looking at more closely for a mound system instead, but he can only say that, and then once you know where the building is gonna be, that's when you have to come back and test more closely. So his recommendation is it's fine. You're going to have the county come out, and they did not show up when said they were gonna be there for the test pits. So we don't have any comments from them. So I can certainly follow up with them. They just don't seem very concerned about it.
Well, either way, it's gonna be your person.
Yeah, they have to comment. I just am not qualified to really talk
Well,
about it.
right now, there's sanitary drainage, personal waste treatment systems there, which is gonna be a drainage.
Yeah, so it's,
And if anything other than that, you'd be coming back to us and saying, hey,
yeah, and he does not anticipate there being any issues. All of the, they did 7 test pits, 5 were good, 2 were just, he thought maybe the mound system would be more appropriate, but again, they have to do more testing once they know where the house is gonna be exactly.
you found pits 4 and 6 are suitable for either grade or mound.
Yeah.
But again, the testing areas need to be expanded upon the house location.
Which, and this is more than we did with the last phase. I don't know if you remember, we just had like an existing soils report that we were using. So then we went for this phase, we got even more information, so.
And for what it's worth, I think the town is being extra cautious on this based on other developments, not in Kennedy Hills, regarding soil suitability. And I'll just say that Chris can comment on this, but the resolution you're asked to adopt refers to Nick's memo, and Nick talks about, the soil testing needed, county approval as well.
That's correct.
How many lots are left in phase 2 to be sold, do you know?
80.
And you are gonna connect Conestoga Trail.
Yeah.
Through.
Do everything.
It's quite a hill.
No, that won't be a dead end. It won't be a
Right.
dead end.
I just remember being.
No, well, you're talking about Meadowlark with Hamburg's up there. No?
We thought,
Oh.
we went out and did our road review this year.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of steep. You gotta do it. Cause we were talking about more with the way the water is gonna roll. Pushing the water one way or the other when we talked about it, and when we came through with like for phase 2. Yeah, question about that. So which way, how will that water roll?
From which street?
On Conestoga,
The existing part or what we're putting?
well, for the new into the existing part.
Yeah, so we're putting in 2 culverts underneath those existing driveways that are right past the dead end right now so that we can get that water back into the storm system.
Okay, because there's quite the hill, there is enough grade where it's gonna go down.
Yeah, it all works out grade wise.
Okay, so we were not gonna get any people upset coming to us from that are already existing, taking on additional waters.
No, we looked at that really closely because I know last time anybody wants the big stormwater pond right in their backyard, so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Address
It's probably gonna be better, I bet.
It should help a lot because right now it looks like it's running into their backyard some.
So Nick, you really didn't have any red flags on this other than some minor notes.
It was minor notes. There are some questions I had for the plan commission here, particularly on Farmhouse Road. In the plat, it is slotted for a 70-foot wide right of way. However, it was designed for just a rural
66.
Designed for like your standard 66 roadway, 24 feet of pavement. It does not have the bike lane like your neighbor connecting roads do for Wooded Ridge Trail. So I didn't know if the town wanted to extend that to Kennedy's and make that a neighborhood connection trail, so it had the bike path, or keep that just a 24 feet width of pavement, 2 12-foot lanes.
70.
So it's set up for 70 right away, but yeah, it depends on the pavement width you want, because the bike lanes would increase the pavement width.
I think you want the bike lanes.
I would think so, but I know there was some discussion during the preliminary, and it was maybe just a gray area. Just wanted that clarified, that getting that bike lanes. And I know Kennedy Hills was pavement markings were added to this plan to include a walk, not a designated bike lane, but an area that bikers could use or walkers could use with a pavement marking on it, just like for your neighborhood connection, kind of do a loop there. So I assume you wanted the full bike lanes, but just wanted clarification. I'm giving that as a yes.
I would say yes.
And so get you all the way into Kennedy.
Yeah, and that way it's there, and if we ever get across the street done, we just do the same thing across the street at that time.
To the west.
To the west.
Yeah.
Another question I had for the town, I don't know if it matters or not, for the parking that's slotted, the parking parking lot that's slotted for the outlot there, it does show 4 ADA accessible parking stalls. The amount of actual stalls in that parking lot does not require 4 for ADA. It only requires 2. But I don't know if the town would want to keep it as 4 or just have 2. It's looking into the future on what may or may not be occurring out there, and the people assessing that or wanting to utilize that park space.
2.
Yeah.
Just 2.
2's fine for me.
If requested later years down the road, could it be changed?
Yeah, it's just pavement markings.
All right, that's fine.
So it's not, no modification to the actual pavement width or rock below it. It's just some pavement markings, so you could black some of them out and repaint new yellow ones.
Because you don't have any place for them to really go with it once they leave the parking lot.
There's one's gonna have to push it.
What's that? Off-road wheelchairs?
Yeah.
Then the rest, besides that, the rest of mine were a lot of
Just miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous,
note type
like-
things.
yeah, I saw some drainages that were outside the drainage easements, so either modifying the drainage ditch or the drainage easement, just making sure they're in it, but nothing substantially that stuck out. We did talk about the soils that Mark had in his, but also I had in mine, and just touch base on that, and then some other outstanding waiting for DNR permits and Dane County permits.
I think it's a DNR permit.
Okay,
I haven't gotten Dane County yet.
okay.
One more.
Yeah. Steve, I'll take the question.
Oh, you probably-
Oh, you can vote.
Any public
Nick, on your comment on sheet PP10 with the reinforced concrete pipe that the town intends to replace?
So I talked to, there's currently a culvert pipe, sorry, let me rephrase that culvert pipe, a metal culvert pipe underneath Kennedy's. And I talked with staff, Dan, and it was intended that in the near future, they would be upsizing that reinforced concrete pipe.
I'm trying to picture, where's that one?
That is right by the south of the entrance to phase 1. I can't think of that street name.
So between the corner and that phase 1 then? Or,
Yes.
yeah, that street from phase 1.
Yep, street to phase 1 to the, just to the south of it.
Okay.
So the developer was not planning on replacing the whole culvert. They were going to be extending that further to the east and connecting onto it because they are widening
The
their,
pavement.
yeah, Kennedy Road on their side of the roadway. Just upsizing that from metal to reinforced concrete, so then all of it's the same.
Anybody have any more questions for either Mark or Nick? Oh, yeah. Anybody from the public wish to make any comments, have any concerns? Nobody online, Kim? I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Kennedy Hills.
Your motion is to adopt the resolution,
Correct,
so
yes. There you go. I think that's right.
Resolution 2026-6-24. Resolution recommending the conditional approval of the final plat of Kennedy Hills second edition. And
Do you want to add any language to answer the two questions that Nick had in his letter? He asked about
Well, 7-foot road.
pavement width on Farmhouse Road and also the EV parking spaces. Those are just questions in his letter, so.
I want to ask the town to waive the recreational fee.
Which is part of Mark's, yeah. Okay.
And so then that would require note 1 to be changed on the plat.
Okay.
And that we do want farm house road to be 70 foot with the additional 4-foot painted stripe on it like our other ones.
It's designed to the neighborhood connectors street
Yeah.
standard.
Right. And that there only be 2 AD accessible parking spots marked in the parking area for the outlot 3. I think that's it.
Can I just be the Lorax again and just say that they conduct a inventory of the trees along the north plat edge and modify plans with the goal of preserving high quality mature trees?
Yes. I always like to save a tree if you can.
That's right, thank you. Thanks for taking that Lorax thing further. I like that.
What was the word you used?
Oh, no. It's the Lorax,
Truffula trees.
the truffula
Lorax.
trees, yeah. Dr. Seuss. Sorry.
What's that?
Did catch that.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Chris, second by Tom. I won't try to repeat it, but does anybody need a read back before we vote? Hearing nothing, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Should I add those conditions to the resolution before he signs it?
And then
So the next step will be the developer's agreement. Nick will figure out a letter of credit, right? and covenants.
Yeah, also, yeah, the county will be supplying their own letter of credit to them.
Right.
Requesting their own letter of credit.
This also does need to go to the planning board.
On the 6th.
Yeah.
all right, where's my agenda? Here we go. Next item, Allison Rathsack, petitioner, Dane County property owner, parcel 0711-334-9235-0, north of 3236 County Highway N, seeking a rezone to rural industrial for storage of materials and conditional use permit for the removal of clay materials.
Good evening, I'm not Ally.
I was just gonna say, it didn't look like an Allison.
Allison is with us. I'm John Welch, I'm the director of the Department of Waste and Renewables. We run the landfill and recycling programs. As you indicated, we're here before you tonight requesting a rezone of this parcel and conditional use permit to allow non-metallic mining for the removal of clay, which would be used in the construction of the landfill. So this is a parcel that the county's owned since the mid-90s. We had previously taken clay off of a northern portion of this land, which was then subsequently sold to John Hornan. If you're familiar with the area, It's immediately east and behind the H storage property, which is along the county road end, just south of 1213. So we, as you indicated, we are requesting a rezone from an existing farmland preservation FP1 to a rural industrial zoning, which is consistent with the town's amended development plan, which slates this for commercial development. And additionally, we would like to request a conditional use permit, which will allow us to do non-metallic mining for approximately 3 to 4 months next summer to remove the clay that's in the subsurface of that area to use for landfill construction. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
So removing the clay is just the first step.
Correct.
Next step is?
Next step, the county plans would be to use this property for storage, both indoor and outdoor storage, primarily for the highway department. So they'd be building a large storage building to store highway equipment, both larger heavy construction equipment, signage boards. They have certain equipment like mowers that they store in the winter time, don't have storage space for that now. They'd also be using this for other departments. So there's a lack of overall indoor storage for the county right now. So medical examiner is a good example. Highway garage, emergency management all have needs for storage. Sheriff's office does as well. And then for outdoor storage, it'd primarily be items like culverts, gravel, things that they may buy in bulk that they use for road construction projects throughout the year.
A medical examiner needs stuff?
Yeah.
Move into it.
You're probably asking the wrong person, but gosh, I mean, how long's Emmy's office been there? A year and a half, 2 years, and already the.
5 years,
Huh?
probably 5 years.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID because we had
Okay.
discussions at the time. So during COVID, they acquired refrigerated semis as an example.
Yeah.
They weren't planning for at the time they built that building.
You don't have enough current space at your slot on A, B, and 12 and 18 for additional buildings?
Most of that land, you're talking the end of Love's Lane. Yeah, so the 911 center is being built there. Most of that land's been platted for kind of smaller lots for buildings versus this would be a larger building that wouldn't fit within.
No, the site where your current highway building is at.
Sure.
Don't you have additional land there that is not occupied?
There's very minimal that's not paved or occupied. There are plans in the future to do an expansion on the building, both vertical and some horizontal to the south, but it wouldn't be enough space for what's proposed, what they're proposing here.
Is there land to the east of you before you get to Coparks that's owned by the state that would be available?
Not really. The state owns a small piece, but that's where they extended Love's Lane down to Copart, put in that roundabout. And the only additional land there is basically they made that wide enough to reroute AB through that area in the future. So it's just a parcel to the road basically.
If I could comment, the reason, the CUP is for the extraction. The rezoning would allow the phase 2 use, which is the including outdoor storage, and the building that the highway department would predominantly use. I think the current zoning with the conditional use permit would allow extraction.
I would make a motion that we table this until we are done with the update to our comp plan that you're currently working on.
The amendments that are being considered.
How long do you anticipate the process to get the amount of clay that you want out of there?
Approximately 3 to 4 months. We propose starting as soon as the weather would allow next spring and being done by June, July.
So you don't need it tomorrow?
Don't need it tomorrow.
Okay.
We're looking at August for Mark to come back to us for the comp.
July.
July.
Yeah, I don't know, was there any, I'm racking my brain, honestly, was there anything related to this that you wanted me to look at?
Farmland preservation, that percentage
Oh,
and how close we really are to 80.
Right.
And if it's possible for you to find out how many farms in the township participate in it.
I can do that. This area, since it's planned for commercial development, doesn't really factor into the 80% calculation. You know, we can talk more about it next month.
One other small piece related to that too, this really is farmland preservation. It's kind of the classic example of no good deed goes unpunished. So H Storage was renting about 3 acres from us and asked to kind of square off the lot and buy that from us. And we allowed that to happen, and unintended consequences, it took us below 35 acres, which automatically rezoned this land to farmland preservation when that rule changed, that anything under 35 acres became that. So unintended consequences, land was kind of always intended to be for clay source of landfill.
But once you take the clay off, could be reclaimed, uses it anyway.
Good, yeah. And nothing on the conditional use permit would, allowing the conditional use permit to remove clay wouldn't prevent you guys from taking action on future county plans. Obviously, we'd have to submit requests for building permits, et cetera, and that's not my department.
Would you be willing to, before you come back to us for clay extraction or for the rezone, to have an independent engineer verify that the 48-inch culvert on Octoon Road is at the south end, is that the correct height for the land leading up to it?
I guess I'm not familiar with the culvert.
I think you took out too much clay and you didn't reclaim enough to get the good drainage through that culvert.
Sure. You're saying on the far northwest corner of the Hornick property, or which culvert are you talking?
The culvert that goes under Octoon Road, 48-inch, the south side. Because last time you took clay out, you didn't do a great job. I think you have a problem there, and you created 2 low spots in that cornfield that can't be cropped.
Yeah, and this was in the 90s, so this was before my time. What I've been told about that was the county took the clay, was working on the restoration, and the powers that be at the county decided to sell the land in the middle of that restoration because they needed to close a budget hole.
Gee, that's never happened.
I don't care. I asked them to fix those 2 things, and they never did. And that's how you left it.
I understand.
And that's what the township gets left with.
Yeah. Any clay extraction that would happen would require a non-metallic mining permit from the town, which would require restoration, as well as a non-metallic mining permit from the county, which would require restoration as well, which is inspected by the town and county department outside of mine. So we removed clay in the last 5 or so years from a property in Westport. You can see the restoration that was done there. It's very well done, follows all those plans, and that would be our intent here as well.
Do you have an estimate as to what it'll cost to extract the clay and reclaim it?
Ellie, do you know if we have a cost estimate on what it would cost to extract the clay and reclaim that property?
Not at this time, no.
We could get you that information pretty quickly. We've done kind of general public bids for clay extraction at other properties in the last several years.
Would you be willing to issue a bond in the name of the town that you meet the reclamation properly?
Absolutely.
I need to correct something that I said. So if this property were zoned FP 35, mineral extraction would be a conditional use. Because it is zoned FP1,
It's not.
it's not, and the land would have to be rezoned to something else
Yeah.
to allow
That's what I was just
extraction.
gonna look up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I told them that when they sold the 3 acres.
Yeah, I
That they
missed-
screwed themselves.
Well, I made a mistake in saying that, so I wanted to just correct that. They would have to rezone it to something to extract. The RI district also helps facilitate phase 2. There might be other districts that they're only doing the extraction that they could get away with.
I have a lot of problems with the county.
It sounds like.
Cool.
Hmm?
Your motion stand?
Yeah.
What's that?
Made a motion
To
table,
defer to,
to defer. I mean, I think Mark made some reference to. You have, you guys have a little more time to look.
how close would you be taking clay out to the borders of the property? My main concern is like the northeast corner, right next to Hornings.
Right,
How
right. We,
close you're gonna be there?
um,
And what conversation, if any, have you had with Hornings?
yeah, we've had, quite a few conversations this week, spoken with John, a couple of times on the phone, and Andy stopped in my office a couple of days ago as well, talked to them. We're willing to work with them on keeping back from that property line, any grading. They had a lot of concerns about the ultimate stormwater design. Obviously, it would need to meet Dane County requirements for a 200-year stay on, all stay on volume from a 200-year event. But yeah, we're willing to keep back from the property line if that helps them in terms of impacts them during clay removal. We own the land, obviously, but they have leased the land from us for agricultural purposes for a long time. So I don't want to put words in their mouth, but they have a lot of concerns about that moving forward and not being ag land. And again, not making any promises, but I've already tried to look for additional ag land for lease for them in the area. So I made a few calls in the last few days and trying to work with them on that as much.
The other question I had was your proposed driveway entrance out to N. How close is it actually going to be to the little yellow house there?
Yeah, that's a question really for the highway department, and they'll have to submit that as part of that plan. What they've indicated, right now, there is a shared driveway access with Hornings, but they've indicated they would like to put in a new driveway for this if it were approved as the storage use. And they would have to look at site distances with that knoll as well there, so that's probably some of the main factors. I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, no, that was gonna be my next question. And do you have any idea how many trucks a day are gonna be going in and out?
Very minimal, so this would be really for storage, so it won't be any staff there on a day-to-day basis. It would be probably a few times a week where somebody would be taking a piece of equipment out or bringing something in for more long-term storage.
No, I mean, as far as the clay extraction.
Oh, clay extraction. My best guess is, what we've done in the past with the short haul distance that we have here, you're probably looking at about 30 trucks would be put on it, making multiple rounds. So you're probably talking upwards of 150 to 200 trips a day for about, 3 months.
Yeah, we'll have some scrubbers on that. And some scrubbers.
So our comprehensive plan has this section into R1, is that correct, Mark or Tim?
No,
Commercial.
it's planned as part of the commercial development area. It's a little bit,
They want to go to R1.
They want-
It's planned for commercial, which is planning.
Yep,
They want to be R1 for zoning, current use.
So does there need to be a traffic study done in this area? Because just to the mile north, brakes are on projects there because of traffic study.
That was gonna be my next thing, hearing how many.
And, yeah, you're doing an extraction for a few months, but long term as a building. I'm just.
Yeah, I know what
you
you're
know,
saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, the traffic study was missed a mile north from this place. Is it gonna get missed again here? is it needed? I don't know.
I'd have to check to see whether the traffic study that's still in progress for that commercial development to the north accounts for this proposal, either phase one or phase two. Obviously, whatever, 150 trucks, 200 trucks for a temporary basis is one thing. The long-term, needs are a different, matter.
Right.
So
multiple county places potentially could be in there.
But I'll take a peek at that traffic study that's pending to see if it accounted for traffic coming from this site. The other thing is that, the proposed zoning, it looks like a 1. It's RI, it's rural,
Right.
rural industrial.
Say R1's not right.
And so.
I had RI written.
Yeah, while I have that kind of written, Kim did put something in front of you tonight.
Oh, actually, I did it.
Oh, okay.
I was holding on to
I'm
that.
sorry. So I made a comment in my memo that, like whenever there's a kind of a HC rezoning, there's usually a discussion of what uses in the HC that wouldn't be appropriate. If you're postponing action, it isn't timely, but when you do get around to rezoning, and if RI is truly the district that is supported, I'll just comment that there are some pretty nasty conditional uses in the RI zoning district. And so I put together this just today for the town's consideration of those uses that I would imagine we don't want to see here if the RI zoning is assigned. So the red cross outs are what, I'd suggest the deed restriction be applied to make sure that this doesn't happen if it's rezoned to RI.
If you postpone this, you might have a county staff report too.
Yeah.
County zoning staff report of planning.
Yeah, I had commented that for extraction operations in particular, the town plan says that the town will wait until it gets a county planning department report on the extraction proposal before the town will take action. We don't have that yet. And we got a good explanation as to why. It also suggests that for extraction operations, there's a town process. The town actually has a mineral extraction ordinance that need to be followed. And so it doesn't say when that needs to be followed relative to the county or county conditional use permit process. But
those licenses or permits run July 1st to June 30th on an annual basis. So I don't know when you're thinking of hoping to start, but if you were going to do it within one license year, it would be July 1st would be the soonest that would, otherwise you'd have to apply for a current one now and then reapply in July or renew, I guess.
it doesn't have to be taken before the full calendar year. Could you get a license in March?
Yeah, I'm just saying they'd be paying twice,
Hear you. So that process to get the town license hasn't started yet. And that would also kick in some, I think, review by the town engineer who hasn't had a chance to look at this, not his fault, this proposal yet. A lot of the questions on where the extraction is going to occur and, trucking impact and so forth is typically addressed through the county conditional use process plus that town.
Typically, how far down do you go?
As far as the clay goes, in this case, it's an average of about 2.8 feet across the whole site, but it's, yeah, it's not very, the deepest areas are about 5 feet as you head towards the south up the hill, as much as 5 feet of clay in those areas. So what we would do is strip the topsoil, remove all the clay, and then regrade everything. Ideally, if we had some good feelings that the highways plans would be moving forward, we incorporate into the site grading as we regraded things. That includes your permit stormwater, and then we would put topsoil back and then seed everything.
So we have two distinct operations here.
Yes.
You would have your clay extraction, the reclamation,
And a
and then
building.
they would come around and tear it up again, collect,
For the building.
for the buildings and the lots and stuff.
Unless they find another place.
Huh?
Unless they find another place.
Well,
I could hope
with,
so.
with.
How much land do you own in the township?
This parcel, there's the parcel, another parcel on County Road N and B.
It's
about
a
it.
township. It's a,
Is it?
Don't you still own Old Country Corners?
We do own
The
that.
house, Hamburg's? You bought another house across from the new
We
landfill?
bought the 4 houses in that cul-de-sac, yes.
You tore down 4 houses?
We haven't torn them down. We just tore down one so far.
Hamburg is gone and what's her name?
Oh, I thought you meant in that cul-de-sac.
Oh, no. Have any plans on selling those?
Probably not long-term,
Why not?
no. Yeah, if people buy it and build a house, then we've got neighbors right next to the landfill, which isn't usually ideal.
If the second owner doesn't get any compensation, they can't complain about it.
Oh, they can still complain.
Chris, you had a motion to table this?
Yeah, I did.
Did he?
he needs a second.
I'll second it, that we table this until we get a staff report also.
Do we want to hear if there's any, before we do that? I just want to see what, we still have a lot of people here this late in the day, and I didn't know if anybody has comments, questions, or anything else like that with regards to that, or if it's for future, or for the next agenda item. Nope, I guess not.
So the motion was, Chris's motion was it to table it until the comp plan amendment is finished? And then you also, you want to know the impact that it would have, this rezone would have on farmland preservation, right? Independent engineer, I didn't follow it. The culvert under Austin Road,
South End.
South End. Okay, and then Tom mentioned, and then also until we have a staff report.
Getting a county staff report.
Is there anything else you want actually as a reason why you're tabling it or what you're waiting for?
I didn't hear that, Kim.
I was just wondering if those are all the things that you're tabling it to wait for.
Heard the motion, heard the second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next item, Chris Miller, petitioner, GT Rentals, property owner, parcel 0711-291-8500-1, 0711-91-8685-9, Hope Road west of 3647 Vilas Road, seeking a land division by certified survey map and rezone of 9 acres from FP 35 and 0.27 acres from SFR 1 to RR 2 and rezone of 0.74 acres from SFR 1 to FP 35 to move 1 residential lot and create an additional 3 building lots using PDR and a shared driveway. I'm gonna have a butcher. And who will be speaking?
I will be.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So you can see, what we're trying to do is, rezone part of the FP 35 there for roughly 2 acre lots minus the added one for the driveway there, of which the farm, you see the density study already shows there's 2 with it. There's a spot zone lot that has been there for a long time currently on there. And then we're looking to bring a TDR from Hank Hansel, the neighbor, which has been agreed upon, et cetera. You know, looking at the criteria of doing it before, not taking away tillable land and farmland. We're not postage stamping it. There's currently the road there. It's not steep slopes. There's really not a lot of environmental things that would normally jump out at you. Read the planner's comments and things, and feel that we can fairly, simply and easily meet, the required criteria of that. It would allow us to probably clean up that existing driveway that's there now. That's, if you want to call it that, it doesn't really exist. Clean up that spot zone lot. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. We do have them all right around 2 acres, except if we include that one with the driveway, it ends up being a little bigger. That would be the reasoning behind it. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Obviously that, we would follow all the driveway would be put into town road specs. Of course, follow any long driveway.
Dedicated?
I'd rather not. I know where you're going with that.
I don't know why it was never in the first place.
Right. I mean, obviously, right now, it just doesn't even exist. I mean, it's not even recorded anywhere or anything. Obviously, we would do that and have a formal written up driveway agreement, put it in with any, turnoffs because of the length and the specs of the town road, and be able to turn around at the end of it, which you can't do anything close to that right now. So, there's technically, 2 residences, it could be, there is that other lot that's there. So really, you could go in there and do that with nothing, just the way it is. So we would be improving that. I guess, that's our mind frame there and thought process, and I feel like we could hit most of the key points for the, for the criteria of the, let's say the 80% or whatever. The rest of it, the county will determine what we need to do for erosion. The county will determine anything we need to do that way. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking to do.
Based upon my previous experience, just on the plan commission, there's a good potential that you're gonna need stormwater. Which parcel were you thinking about putting the pond at?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's all obviously part of the sheet flow and everything that we have to calculate, because each one of those houses are they can handle their own on themselves.
Correct. I'm talking about just your driveway.
Just the driveway. I guess I'll have to see how that calculates out. I mean, they'll determine what that'll have to be and where we would use the stormwater. I don't know yet. I mean, that would have to be done if that meets the criteria. I mean, it's all about sheet flow and, square footage and things like that.
Would you put a cul-de-sac in at the end?
Well, we were thinking of extending it past, the end of the property. So you have 66-foot access off of each one. So you're gonna have 4 driveways at the end to be able to turn around. We're gonna probably have to put a kick out or something else there halfway down the road as well. So in lieu of doing that, we were hoping that the driveways themselves would act as.
What about for garbage truck to get back there? He's gonna need something to turn
It's gonna have
around
to be
in.
bigger than just a straight
And
head.
fire
arrow.
trucks.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
And typically, we've asked for a bulb of some sort back there, in previous.
I think you should have the fire department look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that all has to be up to that.
So I have a question. I couldn't hear what you're gonna do with that driveway that's, the current driveway that's in there now, which is 25 feet from my house. Plus it's about that much higher than my house, so it's sort of 25 feet. The master bedroom is 25 feet from the edge of the road then, and that road is about 6 feet at least above the floor of the house. And I really don't have any barrier in there or anything. Are you gonna make any changes in there?
Well, we'd have to bring it up to town road specs and it's.
What are the specs? How close can you put a 4-unit, 5-unit transportation to a house according to the code in this township?
Well, as far as putting the driveway in?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, that you can have that many houses. I mean, I've owned that house for 50 years. And when I bought it, my secretary lived back in that house and there was very little traffic. Scott here owns it now and it doesn't bother me a bit because you just don't go up and down that road. But now you're gonna put 4 more new ones in there. And this is getting to be a little different. I've got a wooded lot with the exception of that driveway. And now suddenly I'm gonna have 5 families using this driveway. And it's 25 feet from my house. And that's gonna hurt my property.
So I guess this would be maybe a question for Steve. Is that existing driveway bed, is that any?
The existing driveway.
driveway bed over. We could move it over further away from.
Well, I mean, if you could get some real distance, I don't want, you know what I mean? A reasonable distance that it wasn't 25 feet and elevated right next to my master bedroom. That's what I'm concerned about. It's gonna hurt the property from the standpoint of that road being there. It's a minimal driveway, as you know. And how many people can you put on a driveway like that? How many houses?
How wide is that driveway gonna be?
What's that?
How wide can it be?
None of this stuff has been determined yet.
The easement is 33 feet and you'd have to annex, rezone more than that to get a wider driveway. And there's already drainage issues for Ken and myself with where the driveway is right now.
So we understand that you do own all the property to the east of that driveway.
We own the driveway.
So really, it's a matter of just fitting it all in there. And not, I mean,
Right.
there is some privacy things we could do between that driveway and my house, you know. But, and maybe that would be a consideration, move the thing 25 feet or further away and I'm just talking here, you know. But that's gonna affect that house and the value of it. I've lived there for 50 years. I was under the impression you only could put one house on a driveway like that, you know?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. I mean, since it's not an actual county road. How?
Are you gonna develop more houses back in there?
No,
Who's gonna plow, snow plow? It's not a county
One of
road.
the things is that the rest of the property in the FP 35 would be, it would be deed restricted, there would be no more development.
It'd be agricultural land like.
Correct.
It's
Yep.
been there.
So
Well, you can see my concerns. And my daughter's gonna end up owning that house and she's concerned. She may move into it, her daughter may move into it. They're both looking at that. And it's a nice isolated property now with a car going up and down that driveway 2-3 times a day. And no muss, no fuss. Now, if we're gonna have 6 cars go up and down that highway or 8 cars go up and down that highway, and there's a couple of teenage kids that like to hit the gas a little bit, that's gonna really change that from being an isolated house with a moderately used driveway 25 feet from the house. And so I'm trying to avoid that. And I'm sure you can move the driveway far enough that this would not be a problem, but that's the discussion.
Yep, understood. Yeah. That's why I was talking with him, if whether any of the material of that driveway is
Say it
really
again?
usable. We were discussing this before about moving the driveway more to the.
Yeah,
to the
well, I mean, that would be the obvious thing to do. I mean, if you went up to the edge of the woods, in that, you know, if you moved that far, that would be just fine with me. I wouldn't have a problem. That might be maybe another 35 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
How wide would this, what should that approach to those 4 units back there or 5? What should that look like?
Well, we've got it 66 feet wide, which is
What's that?
kind of a common road right away. 66 feet wide is the connector.
Would that be legitimate?
It would have to be built to town road standards.
Yeah,
They should
that
tell you what
distance.
that-
This is for, yes, but yes, for town road standards, once you get past a certain length, 200 feet, the ordinance
You know, he
requires. town road
can't
standards for
hear
shifts.
with you guys talking back there. It's impossible to hear. Sorry.
So with town road standards, you're looking at typically 12 inches of 3/4 or 3-inch rock plus another 6, so 18 inches of rock plus your asphalt pavement on top. Should be something around that.
And how far lateral distance would you be away from the house with the edge of that
If it's
pavement?
a private driveway, it's different than it is
It
with
is.
a town road.
Yeah.
According to the
Well,
county.
that couldn't be called a private driveway.
Can I call a timeout?
You sure can. I was gonna talk to you again.
Going way too far.
So one of the policy issues that the town plan commission needs to weigh in on is whether to support a modification to the town subdivision ordinance standard that says all new lots need to have frontage on a public street. If this proposal to allow, which would have 1 lot on a public street, flag lot, were to go forward. So that's a kind of a policy decision that the town has to make as to whether to allow a private driveway or whether to require a public street to extend to the south. I think once you make that policy decision, then you can talk about what this driveway looks like, how wide it is, whether it can be shifted 30 feet to the east or not. So I think that's kind of a key flexion point is what.
I have a question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
If this would have been 5 homes, this would have been a subdivision.
Correct.
Okay, which would have mandated a town road, feeding that as opposed to a private driveway. Now, using your term unintended consequences, because we have this 5th home that's previously existing, would the town be within its rights to tell the folks that we would want this to be a town road? Because we now have 4 proposed and then the 5th that's already existing there.
The town subdivision ordinance doesn't distinguish between lots created by certified survey map or lots created by plat. It says that all lots must have frontage on a public street. So whether you want to draw a line, based on state statutes written 100 years ago, that plats always have to have public streets and CSMs don't always, that's up to you. But the subdivision ordinance doesn't say, oh, if you're a plat, you always have to have public streets, and if you're a CSM, you may not have to. The subdivision ordinance just says all lots shall have frontage on a public street, and it's got a minimum distance. I can't remember what that is. So but you have the ability as a town, board, following plan commission recommendation, to say, for this area and under these circumstances, we're going to waive or modify that requirement. You can do that, and the county will accept that. So without getting, I got into a lot of shit in my memo. And if you do allow a private driveway, you should make sure that it's designed according to everything that you guys are talking about for emergency access, and make sure that it's crystal clear who takes care of it in the future and to what standard, and how the costs are shared among those who are using it to maintain it over time, because those are the things that result in fights, misunderstandings that you guessed it, get brought to the town later on to try to resolve. So I'm sorry, Steve, I went on too long, but
No,
I don't think
not.
I don't think the plat versus CSM matters too much. It's whether you want to have 4, and I guess now it's 5 lots with frontage, we're relying on a private road to get access to them. And there are advantages, and the applicant can talk about them, but you could probably have flexibility in design with a private driveway that you don't have with a public street. Cost is almost certainly less.
Yes.
I don't know if the surfacing would be paved or gravel, but that certainly matters.
We're talking about a garbage truck going down there. We're gonna have to have some better snow removal than what's going on now. This ain't gonna be done with a garbage tractor.
I don't know if the garbage truck goes down, they pick it up at the road anyway.
They
would go
could.
down
I
there.
don't
They
know
will
why- I don't know why
they
they
will
couldn't.
not.
It's a private driveway.
What's that?
The people
Yeah.
can take their
Do
carts.
they go
out.
down the
They
road
won't go
now
down
for you? No, I take it over, yeah.
I don't think they'll go down a private
They
road.
won't.
Yeah.
But people can take their carts all the way down. I personally have no problem with not having 60-foot public access for each.
I'm just looking at the standards for a driveway over 200 feet wide.
Problems.
I'll share that. You don't see it very good, but
Yeah,
there's certain standards that you have to meet if you get over 100 feet. And then once you get over 200 feet, there's even more standards, but basically having to do with the base, and also clearance on either side of it and the width. And so over 200 feet is supposed to have an all-weather roadway of compacted road, gravel, asphalt, or concrete 2 inches or more in depth and 18 feet or more in width. That's the paved or the roadway portion. They also have to have an area 6 feet or more from each side of the edge of the driveway, and a full overhead clearance of 14 feet or more in height, free of encroachments, adequate draining, and a grade of 11% or less. So that is just kind of a quick description of what you'd be having to have there.
And if he is indeed within 25 feet, if you are indeed within 25 feet of that small existing driveway, it would almost entail shifting the driveway further to the east, in order to
Get your
make
setback. Well, and if you looked at how that's laid out there, that driveway is sunk in, and that's the only thing that's keeping the water. The water used to run off that driveway into the back behind my house. It was carrying dirt down in there. Well, that's sunk enough that now it's really gotta be something special, or snow or something like that. And then I get stuff coming in there. But, it's definitely, changing everything from the standpoint of what the value of that house is. It's a nice house, So I'm a little disappointed about that, but, considering you own the land already, it is woods. If you could go quite a ways before you get out of the woods to the east. I don't know what that is, maybe another 50, is it 50 feet to the edge of the woods, to the east where that driveway is now?
Well, lots are putting in go all the way.
We're talking about, moving that driveway to the east, how far? I mean, how
Well,
much?
we'll see, we're on the hill and it's steeper.
Oh, that's true.
And then there's a ravine running through there too.
Yeah. Well, it's complicated, as you see, but, so I'm looking for some way of, if we move that driveway and we can get some privacy, with what's left in there, I mean, there's a spot someplace in there where, okay,
I think moving it east would be something, but I don't know if we want to move it so far east that we cut a brand new swap down there.
Don't want to take all the trees down.
Right.
Yeah. But we could use, move it to the east, maybe use some of that as help make sure there's no water problems for you.
well, I was considering whatever the legal distance is from a driveway or road, whatever you want to call this, that's got 5 houses on it, and services, I'll tell you what, taking your garbage from back in there and walking it out the drive, that is no fun. You don't want to do that too often.
Especially in the wintertime when there's snow, I imagine.
Well, snow and mosquitoes and keeping the, it's just, I mean, I'm the closest one to there, and I'm about 100 feet from the road in or something like that, and I hate to do it myself. Well, think about the people down, those far ones are gonna be down there 400 feet.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's thinking about living in the woods. I mean, I've lived in the woods for 25 years. You got to deal with animals, mosquitoes, poison ivy, ants, bugs, just about everything.
Yeah.
You got ticks.
We're trying to protect it. Well, anyway, that's why I came down here. I'm concerned about it. It was okay when we just had my secretary, and Scott's been a great neighbor. He's been back there 20 years. And I don't even know he's there almost. It's almost like that, but it's all gonna change, So that doesn't seem quite right. And I'm looking for help.
Right, I mean, if it happens, it happens. We're not really happy with it.
Well, you know what I mean. I know we got some problems here that I'm not gonna be, take it out just to get it out of there, and I'll be happy. But hey, I know better than that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with you, and if we have to put a privacy shrubbery or fence or something to take some of the noise off the house, with a vehicle going through elevated from your house. Now it's even worse, the noises.
One thing that's missing.
And for the map, like, we don't usually, and Mark maybe doesn't realize how we usually do this, we usually like start with a zoning map because things change so many times.
Yeah.
And then they come back with a CSM afterwards and they approve the final CSM. So-
Yeah, that's totally fine. It's listed for CS, it's listed
Well, I
as a
did that
CSM.
because of your thing, because normally, I mean, it's a land division by CSM
Yeah.
versus a land division by subdivision, but we usually don't approve the CSM.
They also check CSM on the application.
Well, that's because they're applying for a land division by CSM. So, because it is a land division, and so it's not.
One time, you and I can maybe spend.
Yeah.
15
What does
minutes to talk
CFM
about
mean?
the Certified survey map. It's the tool that would be used to divide the land.
Yeah, so we kind of do that in a little different order. We look at that after the rezone.
I think that makes perfect sense.
And so we're recognizing that, yeah, it'll be a CSM, but we're not expecting the full CSM at this point, I guess, yeah,
That's cool.
that's
I get
usually
it.
how we do it.
I'm sure there's a spot in there someplace that I can live with. I'm just concerned about, like, you want to be able to take a garbage truck down there. Obviously, I'm looking back at that woods. I can't imagine that you wouldn't want to develop further back into that woods. There's a lot of nice woods there, and we're talking about mosquitoes being a little bad from right about now till late August. And the rest of the time, that is just a beautiful place. I love it. You know, you wouldn't think you'd think you're in the Northwoods.
I know what's consistent with the township and the county and everybody else. They're all gonna require it to be deed restricted for no more development. There's no more splits left, you know, without coming here again and doing something. I mean, I know you commented on it. Very common that it is. The whole rest of the farm is gonna be deed restricted.
Well, if you see that driveway that's in there now, that's nothing special.
It
Well,
doesn't-
that's
a
if
big
there's
problem.
something happens back there, that'll be changed. There's no,
And it would be, it'd be first class if you would move that an adequate distance to give me a little shelter. And then I'd make it a town road. Go down, you could take equipment down in there, you could load the plows down in there. That'd be a decent place and you'd not have to, I mean, you know how long a driveway like that is and when it really snows, what you gotta do to get that cleared out if you really do a job on it?
town road, everybody's going down it. It's a private road, you're limiting who's going down it.
Yeah, but as a town road, the town.
I mean,
can
we're talking
make
ice
sure
and, you know,
it's plowed.
we just live, we get by,
What's that?
minimally there.
It's on the homeowners.
It's people driving. Well, that's what then, so obviously, we're gonna have to go further here. I think really doing some real strong measuring, I'm pretty close on my dimensions,
Fire department's gonna have to look at this first.
but that road, that pavement should have a mound, it should have a ditch. That the stuff can run off and then go someplace.
It'll have to be built at least to the standards that I
Yeah,
mentioned.
I mean, it's coming down past my house. And there have been some times when I really get some wash down in there and I'll pick up that much mud in there. And it's getting higher and higher and
The fire department's gotta look at it
getting up to
anyway.
the,
We gotta let them.
there's a alternative right between
The first lot on the left, where we could take and put a big turnaround right there. Cause we could use it for other stuff too.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna make a motion to table this until next month. You okay with that?
Once our county meeting.
County meeting on
August.
You can't do anything. I mean,
Yeah,
I
one more.
am not comfortable with doing anything like this.
Maybe do that.
Until-
Option.
Because I'm sure the county's gonna, or excuse me, the fire department's gonna want some kind of bulbs.
oh, yeah.
It's not at the county until August.
Yeah.
So you have time for another plan commission meeting in July and the town board and the first meeting in August before your report is due to the county.
I'll second his motion.
Motion by Troy, second by Chris to table until the July meeting, pending information back from the fire department and anybody else who wants to weigh in on it. Discussion?
Thank you. Oh.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. So you guys are gonna have a joint driveway? Get an agreement together.
Yes.
Really strong.
Motion by Chris to adjourn,
Second.
second by Tom. We are out. Thank you, everybody.
Chris did.